Good morning, and welcome to another edition of To The Point. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Those of you joining us on the GBN Television Facebook page, Grenada Broadcasting Network's YouTube channel, the GBN or the Grenada Broadcasting Network channel 7, 11, and 20, and the loyal listeners of Classic 105.5, 105.9. It is Wednesday, and as usual on this day of the week, we facilitate representatives of the government. And this morning I have in studio with me to my extreme right, the acting youth coordinator in the Ministry of Youth Development, Sports, Culture and the Arts, Royden Bihari. And in the middle here, in my immediate right, is Minister Kate Lewis. She is the Minister with responsibility for youth development. Good morning, lady and gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning, Blossom.
How are we on this Saharan Dust Wednesday?
It is a challenging time with the Sahara dust, even for me. But I want to say good morning to all our viewers, our listeners to this program this morning. And it's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much. I think this is the first time I have you with me, Minister
Yeah,
Lewis.
it's the first time with you, but not the first time here.
On the program, good.
Yes.
Right. Well, happy to have you this morning.
Thank you.
With responsibility for youth, let's deal with the programs that the ministry has underway and are some of the things that we can anticipate and expect for 2020 from the Ministry of Youth.
Thank you. The Ministry of Youth Development establishes and implements a variety of programs and projects geared towards empowering our young people. And there are many programs that target different categories of youth. One of the main programs we want to focus on today is the Empower program. This program specifically targets our young males at risk, young unemployed males between the ages of 18 to 30. And next month, we are happy to be launching the second cohort, Empower 2.0. And I would like for us to give that some attention this morning.
Sure. So why 2.0? Why the need for the second cohort, as you put it?
After the successes of the first cohort, we believe that we have to continue to give other young men, those guys on the blocks who sometimes feel abandoned, it's time to give them a second chance. And that is why we are continuing with the second cohort, because of the successes and also because of the need to empower our young men, especially those who are at risk, those who have been found on the blocks for a long time. Some of them dropped out of school, so they have not completed the education. They are not employable. So we are giving them that opportunity to become employable through a variety of training from the Empower program.
Share some of the success stories coming out of the first installment of the program.
Okay, so the first year of the program targeted 500 males. On completion, we had over 300 graduating from the program. Some of them found permanent employment. Some of them opted for further training by attending New Law. And we also have those who received the grant funding, distribution of materials, equipment, so that they can start their own business. These young men are now under the Youth Bees Department of the Ministry of Youth. So the Youth Bees will monitor their business operations to ensure that it is successful, it is managed properly, and they are creating self-employment and hopefully later on employment for others. What is very important though in the success is the change behavior of those young men. The attitude change, the mindset change, and the appreciation for the world of work and being able to make their contribution towards nation building.
Are you aware of what contributed to the 100 and a little bit that did not complete the program, and how can you encourage the second set that everybody completes the program?
Yes, there are many reasons why some of them were unable to complete. First of all, they are not accustomed to a structured program. So it was a challenge for some of them to wake up on time, to be there at the different centers for training. It was a major challenge for them. We had our monitoring officers working closely. But I believe some people need more than one chance. So that is the reason. And we are prepared to continue to work with these young men because that is why the program was created. We knew that from the start, all of them was not going to be able to complete. But our success is by the percentage that we targeted to complete, knowing that the kind of young men we selected for the program, high school dropouts, those who have been in conflict with the law, we know there were going to be some challenges, and we expected that. But we are prepared to deal with it and work on it.
The young men that are part of the program, how are they selected? Is it that you seek them out or they apply and you pick from the lot? And what are some of the training that are taking place at the centers?
Okay. What we do in the initial stages, we have our community youth officers. We have the monitoring officers for various constituencies. And they go out on the blocks and engage the young men, inform them about the program, as well as we have other people who would see them and make recommendations that they be a part of the program. So we go out, we look for them, and we have recommendations.
And what are the programs done at the centers?
Right. So the first part of the program is called the developmental training. And that is so important because this part is where they learn the life skills, time management, work ethics. They learn about themselves, their personal behavior, their own attitude. And this is a developmental phase. So we are actually orienting them into a structured program. From there, we have them into the certificated training and some of them the CVQ training. So they would do things like heavy duty machine operations, excavation, maintenance and repairs, computers. This year we are looking more into robotics and coding and those things. And once they complete a certificated training and the CVQ training, they move into the apprenticeship training within the private and public sector where they can get the hands-on training. From there, based on performance, some of them receive permanent employment.
Why the focus on men, and are there plans to, if not include the women and girls in Empower, but maybe develop a similar program for the females?
The Empower by name is called Manpower. The M in Empower is for male, man. And we are specifically targeting them because when we look back at all of our other programs, let's say the Imani program, 90% dominated by females. So we had to develop a program specifically targeting our young males to get them into something that can empower them.
With 500 for the first cohort, the second cohort, how many are you looking for? And do we have that many young men that need this kind of program?
Definitely. We have moved from 500 to 300 because if you're continuing to train young men, obviously the amount who need the program will decrease. So we have moved from 500. The target for this year is 300. And of course, they are out there and they need that kind of help. Some of them, when you look at the background, no parents in their lives. The community was not there for them. So they have been lost for a long time. And that is why they need this program.
But generally, just generally, just to support what Minister is saying that relates to the Empower program, major focus for us on Empower 2.0 will be the area of mentorship. Because we would have picked up along the way that our young men does not just need an opportunity, but they need that mentoring, and that is why we would have created the social care department of the Ministry of Youth, Sports, Culture and the Arts that focuses on providing the psychological and other support system that are needed by not just our young men, but young people throughout all of our programs as we speak. But if you ask me what drives me and what drives the ministry, what drives us at the Division of Youth Ministry of Youth, Sports, Culture and the Arts is seeing young people coming in with all of the branding and seeing them departing from the program at a different level. When you walk into the Ministry of Labor and you are greeted with the exceptional service, this was a participant of the Empower program. And as you rightfully put it, Empower assisted him in polishing the diamonds that was hidden inside of him. I mean, that alone is enough and sufficient to drive us to the next level of doing it for other persons who were out there. And it has been a challenge. I can say to you, everything has not been a very smooth sailing. Our youth officers on many occasions have to meet our young men at their homes, wait for them to prepare themselves, wait for them to have a bath to actually bring them to the center. Some of them had to hold their hands to bring them to the bank to ensure that we can open a bank account for them. Yeah. But it is because of passion. And we are very, very passionate about what we do at the Division of Youth, Ministry of Youth, Sports, Culture and the Arts. Hence the reason why we spend so much time. And that is why a key element or a key area of focus for staff is patience, because we understand the demographic that we are dealing with. They may not have the tolerance level that we have, they may not have the patience that we have, but if we're into youth development work, it's an area that requires a multifaceted areas of opportunities, and that's what we are providing, because our ultimate aim at the Ministry of Youth, Sports, Culture and the Arts, of course, is to be an agency or to be a ministry that transforms the community. We are not looking at transforming part of a community. We want to transform the whole of the community by providing hope through sports, through positive youth engagement, and of course through culture. And that is why we are in all of what we're doing.
What about follow-up to ensure that even after completion of the program that they are still keeping at it and maybe even growing and developing in whichever field that they are in? How do you do that follow-up with them?
Okay, definitely. So I can say to you, I will allow Minister to answer.
Yes. Most of the participants we indicated before have been given the tools necessary to start their own business, and they are now placed under the Youth Biz department within the Ministry of Youth Development. So there is automatic follow-up. The Youth Biz department is responsible for looking after what they do, the past participants of the Empower, what they are doing, how they are progressing, and providing all the necessary support in terms of marketing their businesses, in terms of helping them with the finances of the business, so that, you know, they can operate that successful business and continue to do it. There will be some times when the challenges hit them, they may want to give up, but that is why we place them under the Youth Biz department of the ministry.
And additionally, Blossom, one of the key opportunities for our participants that would have moved from Empower to our Youth Biz unit is the whole opportunity of them being able to even be considered under our small grants unit of the ministry, where they can get an additional $25,000 to expand or grow the business. So yes, under the Empower setting, they would have gotten items to the value of $2,400. Now that will give us an indication whether or not you are serious, based on your ability to use what we would have provided to you according to your area of interest to actually jumpstart your business idea. Now, if you're really serious about it, then our Youth Biz monitoring officers and the field supervisors that are based at the Youth Biz Center, even that, the ministry would have increased the number of staff at that center just to cater to the needs of our young men, because we have over 100 of them moving over to the Youth Biz Center. So you know how challenging that will be, with the mandate of closely and effectively managing how they go about doing the business operation and guiding them practically. So they too get an opportunity of receiving up to $25,000 to start their own small business. And I think that is, if that's not care and concern for young people, then somebody needs to say what is.
Okay. On that note, let's take a break and come back inside. We are speaking with representatives of the Ministry of Youth Development in the Ministry of Youth, Sports, Culture and the Arts. Keep it locked to the point. We'll be right back.
How do you choose your toilet paper? Just because it's soft and nice. That's how I choose my toilet paper. Made right here in the Isle of Spice. Cherish Springs off Harbor Bay. Super value every day. The price is right and locally they're made. Support local when you purchase Cherish and other quality brands from Grenada Paper Products.
Next on GBN, all the stories, from politics to industrial unrest. Tourism.
Light it up. Light it up.
Station to Grenada.
Entertainment. Sports and culture.
Great shot there of Anderson Peters from Grenada, the Commonwealth Games bronze medalist.
See more on GBN, your most credible source for information. Nightly at 7.
Welcome back to the Point here on Classic. We're speaking with a minister with responsibility for youth development in the Ministry of Youth, Sports, Culture and the Arts, Kate Lewis, as well as acting youth coordinator in the ministry, Royden Bihari. Before the break, we were speaking about the Empower program, but what's the latest with the Imani program?
Okay. The Imani program continues to be one of the flagship programs of the ministry. It is very important because this is the program that gave many of our young people the opportunity to realize their dreams, the opportunity to become empowered, the opportunity to develop hope and faith in themselves and in the system that we operate under. So from 2013 to now, we had over 5,000 young people enrolled in the Imani program. Today, we have over 2,000 persons, young people in the program. It means that almost half of our participants who were engaged have been transitioned out of the program for various reasons. Many of them found permanent employment within the private and public sector. Many of them migrated. Because what we do, we empower them, we train them, civic youth training. We give them that work experience that is necessary so that they can find permanent engagements within the private and public sector. And that is what is happening. We are looking at the further transition of our trainees. We always want to reassure our trainees that some of them may require 1 year in the program, 2 years. Some may require 5 years. We will continue to engage them until they have found that sustainable path of development for their lives. So sometimes you hear rumors about resending them home. I'm going to say this now. It is our government's policy to engage our young people meaningfully, and those within the Imani program. Sometimes those who are taking longer to find the transition path, we will not get rid of them. We will continue to engage them, train them, ensure that they are at that level where they can transition out of the program into something sustainable. And that is what we are doing. We are now gearing up to launch a new batch sometime this year. I cannot tell you exactly what month, but this year we will be launching a new batch, because what you're seeing happening, batches come in, they transition, and we cater for new.
I have a question on the YouTube channel that asks, what about the youths with disabilities? Are they part of any program within the ministry? And what percentage of them are involved? Also name what fields they're involved with in the program.
Well, I can say to you, that's a very, very important question, and one of our mandate at the Division of Youth is to ensure that we provide equal opportunity to everyone, regardless of their race, create a position or so. And even at our last youth parliament, if persons who were looking on our prime minister was someone with huge disabilities, and we did not look down on him. Actually, he led from not just from the back, he led from the front. And Minister can say to you, she was even surprised. We don't use disability as a criteria to remove somebody from the opportunities that they can get from the Division of Youth. A matter of fact, we appreciate persons with disabilities because it is only through our engagement these people can actually receive their fair share as it relates to contributing towards the holistic development of Grenada. It is also our mandate to ensure that greater effort and greater focus is placed on persons with disabilities as we move forward. Hence the reason why all of our programs, there is nothing in our program that disqualifies someone with disabilities from engaging in none of our 20 plus programs. So once they would have made themselves available, a matter of fact, some of the programs and projects that we do, we even write to the entities that manage them for their take and their involvement in most of our programming. So that's one of our priorities, I must say to you.
Could you point out, as the question asked, what percentage of them are involved, or in any program, maybe how many you have in any of the programs? And are they specifically catered to because of their disability, or you tell them adapt?
No.
For lack of a better phrase.
No. So one of the key things that we do is for the engagement of all of our programs, persons will express interest. In the past, we would have received correspondences from the entities that manages them, and we would have involved them. But as it relates to doing a quantifiable survey, as it relates to the percentage, we would have not done that from our standpoint. But what we would have done is to ensure that once we get the indication that there are some level of interest, we go out of our way to ensure that they are involved and they are included in anything that their expression of interest comes from.
Another question on the WhatsApp asks if any of the young people in the program get pregnant, do you send them home and cut their pay? I'm asking how I see it.
Okay, good. Excellent. So I think that's a very good question, because I know sometimes we have some persons out there that have the connotation that somebody gets pregnant and it's a disease. No, it's not a disease. A matter of fact, it is the reason we are here. So one of the things that we do is once persons are into the program and they would have gotten to that stage, after the first 30 days of the engagement and so forth, then we would actually, we do not deactivate them from the program, but they then will move over to the NIS, because NIS makes provision for that. So we would prepare the claims, prepare the form, send it over to NIS, and on a monthly basis they will get the contributions, the maternity contributions and so forth from NIS. Okay. But we don't get rid of them from the program. That's not our policy.
Just to say that the program is run just as how you have it's done in a normal workplace.
Yes.
So from our stipend contribution, our trainees do pay the NIS, and that qualifies them for the NIS contribution for sickness, for any form of medical benefits. They qualify for that. So being pregnant is a normal thing for young women and young adults. So it does not disqualify them from continuing in any of our programs.
Another question on the YouTube channel asks, what can the ministry do to prevent other young men and possibly women from falling into the position that we call vagrants or homeless individuals? How can we help them to ensure that not more of our young men and young people fall victim to that state?
Right. What we have to realize that a young man or a young woman do not get to the stage of being a vagrant or homeless automatically. It has to be a series of events happening from a childhood stage. It means we have to educate our people more from the family, how you grow up your children, from the school, what is done in the school to ensure that young people make the right decisions. And so also to strengthen them, their mindset, their mental abilities, because mental health is something we have to focus on in Grenada more, giving it more attention so our people can be educated, and when challenges do come, they can deal with it in the right way. This is why I'm saying that it is a series of things that must happen from early childhood.
Another one of the programs of the ministry, the FLY program, I understand graduation is tomorrow, God willing?
Yes. In December, we completed another cohort of FLY training. FLY means fostering level-headed youth. And we go to at-risk communities because we have different programs, yes, but not all of the young people get into the program for various reasons. So we go out on a community level. We go to different communities that we deem at risk. Sometimes it's based on the poverty assessment, based on the survey that is done. So the last group of fly participants came from Pearls, St. Andrew, and also Mama Ken St. Andrew. They completed 6 months CVQ training. They did the commercial food preparation as well as general construction. So after that 6 months of training, they will be graduating tomorrow, fully empowered to get into the world of work now because they are CVQ qualified.
So what's the difference between the Fly program and, let's say, Empower?
So what is happening is that while the Empower program, the aim and objective is to provide benefit to a greater allotment of persons at the various parishes and the whole of Grenada. Now, from a number of survey, from the identification of communities from our youth officers on the day-to-day jobs, they will also identify some of the communities that really need that special attention, where we go into that community and actually deliver the program. So while Empower is not delivered at the community level, the Fly program is community in the community. Is delivered at the community level. So Empower may be within a center in a particular parish, but the Fly program, if we are selecting Pearls, every single thing that we do for the person selected in Pearls happens in Pearls. So we don't take them out of the comfort zone. It just maybe moving you from where you used to sit around the corner to that center, maybe just up the corner. So a lot of the persons that there are some young persons that they will not leave the community for anything, regardless of what you do. But is it fair to say that our ministry should not go out of the way to ensure that we provide an opportunity for you too? So what we do, we meet them on the half. We go into the community, we deliver the community training, we deliver the services, we deliver the mentorship, the numeracy, the life skills, the literacy, just so that at the end of it, they too can now see themselves as an agent of change, and they now can move out of the community because I am now more empowered to go out there and find a permanent job on my own. And that's one of the real purpose of it, of going into the community, because we would have tried many other similar programs where we would encourage them to come. And in a number of occasions, some of them may start, they may not finish because they believe, you know what, I may have to go. I don't want people to see me go into that empowerment session, that empowerment training. But right now, as we go into the community, we would have seen a drastic increase in the level of participation among the young people when we deliver the training at the community level. And that program, I can say to you, have yielded a lot of benefit. We have been to Montreat, we have been to St. David's, we have been to Rose Hill, we have been to St. Mark's, we have been to Montu, where you see young ladies are now doing plumbing. And now we would have actually gotten partners like Captain Harris and so forth, who at the various graduation would have taken on some of the young people permanently. So it actually lends itself to direct employment benefits, and that is the reason what we want. That's the reason we are getting into all of it, and we are making a very important call for our corporate Grenada and the stakeholders operating in Grenada throughout the region on the international level, that it is your opportunity to actually take your place rightfully when it comes to youth development, because the contribution of stakeholders is very, very important towards the overall success and the mandate of the Ministry of Youth.
It's time to open the phone lines, 435-2041. You can call in and ask your questions, queries, concerns, comments on anything relating to the ministry. You can also hit us up on the WhatsApp. It's also 435-2041. But please do not voice or video call the WhatsApp. We can't take those calls. But type in your questions and I will relay them for you. You can also post the questions on the Grenada Broadcasting Network YouTube channel or the GBN Television Facebook page. Let's take our first phone call. Good morning.
Good morning, Blossom, and good morning to the people from the Ministry of Youth. I congratulate them for what they have been doing, but I have one question. I want to know what the Ministry of Youth is doing about all the young people who've been placed in schools for years. I have been a principal, and I was very impressed with the Force Imani program, where people were put in the schools for 2 years, and after the 2 years they went home, and today some of them working all over Grenada, in the bank, wherever. But afterwards the new Imani program came up, and people in the school for years. They don't have the qualifications to teach. And they cannot get a teaching job. So I am wondering, what will the Ministry of Youth do with these people who have been there for 6, 7 years and going on? Because parents are referring to them as teachers, and my daughter teaching. When I question, no, they remain. So I find that something should be done to phase these people out of the school system, and I would really like to see the Imani program as it was in the earlier days. I think it was much more effective. Have a good day.
Thank you, caller.
Okay, caller, thank you very much. And this is a very important question. Our trainees who are assigned to schools, some of them you are seeing them beyond 1, 2, 3, 4 years because they have been engaged permanently under the education system. Once they are qualified to be a teacher based on the minimum qualifications required for primary or secondary school, once they have that, once the opportunity comes for employment within the school system, they are given first priority. And I'm happy to report that they have been engaged. Yes, we do have some that have not met the minimum qualifications to be quote-unquote a teacher in the school system, but they have the experience because they have been there for a number of years. And what we do, we continue to encourage them to do the certain subjects required so that they can be engaged on the permanent teaching system.
But additionally, Blossom, even at our ministry level, we provide a number of CVQ trained CVQ opportunities where they are also encouraged to actually do it. Because while they would have had the experience and the training of being in the school, in the areas where we have persons that lack the minimum, as Minister rightfully said, our Imani Secretariat continues to engage them by ensuring that they develop the capacity and qualifications so that once opportunities becomes available at the school, they are also given an opportunity to actually apply for the position. So it's not a situation where we expect to place them at the school and automatically they get permanent. Permanence is based on your outcome, what you put out. And that's one of the key things that we place, we value highly at the Division of Youth. So it's one of the things that we continue to encourage. A matter of fact, even during our teacher and induction course that is run every summer, and hundreds of them capitalize on the opportunity to get that level of training that is run by the Ministry of Education. And we continue to impose on them that it is valued to actually go into these areas.
Back to the phone line. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning to your guests. What I would like to find out is what the youth ministry or minister is doing about those who sit at home, don't attend the courses or the classes, and getting money every month. And I am saying that because I know it is a fact. It's happening in the village where I live. And it's not one. A few of them, well, they don't go anyway. But at the end of the month, they go and pick up their money. That is a waste of taxpayers' money. And that should be addressed. That need to be addressed. Have a good day.
Thank you, caller.
Thank you very much, caller. And I must say that we always say to people who are making these allegations, these accusations, if you know of it, bring it to our attention. Because within the Ministry of Youth, we are doing everything that we can to avoid these things. And sometimes people see trainees home. They do not know the reason they are home. They might be on sick leave. Some of them maternity leave. Some of them might be doing a shift system. So they are unaware as to when they will be taking up their training. But it does not mean that they sit at home. We have done everything in our power to ensure that this does not happen. But mind you, sometimes you have system glitches, system failures. And if this is the case, then you as a responsible citizen need to bring it to our attention.
But also additionally, Blossom, it's also important to inform the caller and others that at the Division of Youth, we have a tier system of verification. Apart from our supervisors supervising our trainees on a monthly basis, we have our quarterly verifications where it is done internally. Persons that are not found as it relates to the monitoring, they are deducted. A matter of fact, we at the Division of Youth have a zero level of tolerance for anybody that is disengaged and getting monies. I can say that to you. And we do not and will not encourage anybody not doing anything getting government's money. Right, then it means that we fail and the program fails. Hence the reason why we continue to place greater emphasis. A matter of fact, as of last Monday, we would have rolled out our pilot e-monitoring system using all tablets, just to ensure that we monitor our trainees in real time. Now, that will also enable us at the Division of Youth to ensure that the trainees that are on the system was not monitored. It's easy for us to track them on that system as we move forward. So while it is a system and we are doing all in our powers to ensure that we do not have these areas of concerns, as Minister rightfully said, every system will have glitches, and we cannot say that the system doesn't have glitches. There may be one, there may be two, but I can say to you, any complaints that we would have received along those lines where persons receiving any payments, a matter of fact, in over the last 2 or 3 years, in areas where persons would have received payment and was disengaged or would have gone out of the program and received even 1 month's salary, they were made to pay it back. So it's not a situation where trainees get away with anything. You may see a trainee out there on the streets, and that trainee may be on holiday because they are also obligated to receive holiday. They may be on sick leave, they may be on maternity leave, they may be in training at the moment. They may be waiting on our ministry, who is now waiting on another entity or another stakeholders to engage that person permanently. No, you will see them home. You don't know the reason why. And sometimes I believe that we have a lot of malice in between. I mean, some of our callers, sometimes, while it may be very, very factual as it relates to your the various concerns, there are some persons that don't ensure that they do checks and balances before we make accusations. And that is why at the Division of Youth, we do not take these things lightly. A matter of fact, if you ask me, one of the most serious areas for me as a coordinator is ensuring that the program is effectively and efficiently delivered to the general public, while at the same time ensuring that the revenues and the expenditures of government is spent in the right areas.
Good morning.
Morning, Blossom, and how are you doing today?
I'm good.
Right, Blossom, as it relates to this allegation that was spoken about by the previous caller, now, this is an allegation that was going on from time memorial, and it was brought to the attention of the minister, whoever it is. It was brought to the attention of them. It's an allegation that continues to plague the department, and I'm listening, sitting down there, of course. I'm listening to the other gentleman, of course. You know, you have to defend your department, and you have to defend this, and there's always damage control. I don't know if this thing is true, but it is a thing that you're hearing over and over again, and they're telling you what? They're dealing with it, they're this, and come and give you all kind of nice things. And the question is, if it still continues, this is taxpayers' money. You can't give people money just to stay home like that. I remember some time ago, I heard a minister say that they had spent $40 million over 3 years. Listen to that figure, $40 million. A minister said that on a platform on the Imani program. After you spend $40 million on the Imani program, and I'm not against the Imani program, why do you have to import labor? You have to import people. The guy was on Silver Sands project there, saying he had to import skills to do tiles. What is the purpose of the Imani program? The purpose of the Imani program, that is why you're hearing they say, oh, the allegation is that they just go and sign up and they're getting money and they're doing anything. You cannot tell me you spend $40 million of a taxpayers' money. And the man from Silver Sand saying that you have to import people to do, my goodness, me tiles. Then you're hearing too that you have a big Imani program, all this kind of launching this and that. But they say if you go to New Law, they say New Law program is what is I hear, I don't know, is much more effective. It's a better managed program. It's a better program, far more than the Imani program. Maybe what the government, I want to believe that probably the government learning their lesson now and sending some of the trainees to New Law. But I understand that the people from the hotels, you know who they want to take? You have a big Imani program. Not saying they're taking from the Imani program, you know, but they want people from Newlaw and from TAMCC and so on and whatnot. So if we're going to spend millions of dollars, listen to me, this is hard-earned taxpayers' money. Or they don't take money and spend on people's cell phone that we can't get it back. Use our money responsibly.
All right. Thank you, caller.
Thank you, caller, as well. And as you rightly said, it has been an allegation. And as I said, if you have any facts of young person or your trainees within the Imani program at home not engaged and receiving any stipend, you need to come forward with that information. That is your responsibility as a citizen of this country. But I continue to see that within the Ministry of Youth Development, we have been doing all in our power to ensure that these allegations are untrue. Furthermore, we at the Imani Secretariat, the Imani program, we are facilitators of the training. We are not the training providers. So most of our trainees are trained in institutions that you mentioned, such as Newlaw, such as TAMCC, and other training centers. So we facilitate it, but we are not the training providers. So some of them that are highly recommended from the program, yes, they have been trained in Newlaw as well. Of course, we are training our young people in various fields, and if there have been a shortage, we can always look at it to ensure that this does not continue. But we will continue to train. Remember, our programs are not without their challenges. We acknowledge that whatever we do, we have challenges, but our responsibility is to work to minimize those challenges.
But that is also important, Blossom. That while I value the concern of the caller, I sense some of the areas of some of the information is very, very much so quote unquote baseless. Because I can say to you, within the last 3 months, we would have done a total verification, and that we continue to do at the Division of Youth. And when I tell you that we're doing a verification, that is us taking our monthly pay report and verifying each of the trainees at the work sites, right? So we would actually verify them at the work site that they are attached to. In areas where there is a trainee that is not attached to any work site, and a matter of fact, we hardly ever have that, they are deactivated right away. Right? So our system, while it may not be 100%, it cannot be the assumption of the caller, whereas we're just paying people for getting anything. I take that very serious. And a matter of fact, if that caller has any information, my number is 533-9999. And I can tell you that we will prove that caller wrong as it relates to our trainees and their engagement at the various stakeholder level. And hence the reason why verification is always a big thing for us at the Division of Youth. A matter of fact, right now, we have a data officer responsible exactly for that purpose, to ensure that we are not paying any person for not doing anything. Now, that caller may have seen or may have heard her colleagues or somebody say something, but it's not the facts. As a matter of fact, I would welcome an opportunity to meet with that person at the Division of Youth, whatever day she would like to join us at the ministry. We will welcome her so that she can provide us with data to ensure that she quantify the assumption and that accusation. But I can guarantee you that is totally far from the truth compared to the way in which the program is run. She spoke about Newlaw, but I don't know if she's realized that Newlaw has been our trusted partner almost from the inception of the Imani program. A matter of fact, Newlaw is one of our top 3 training providers of the program. I believe sometimes persons believe that the ministry trains people on our own. No, we only do the facilitation. We work with people like SIDAC, we work with people like Grace Typing School, we work with people as Newlaw, persons as TAMCC. We have reputable NTA certified training centers. We don't do any training on our own at the Division of Youth, and hence the reason why the NTA has been another of our trusted partners in the delivery of our content, and hence the reason also that all of the facilitators of the new Imani program are NTA certified.
Okay, another question on the WhatsApp. I am currently onto the program, got pregnant in July. My last working day was in October. I got sent home without any salary and still not collecting any salary. So my question is it the NIS that has to pay me monthly?
So good, but the NIS will only make contributions upon the trainee providing the completed form to the Imani Secretariat, which will then prepare from the Imani Secretariat. It will be authorized by the Ministry of Youth, Sports, Culture and the Arts, and then it is delivered to the NIS, where the trainee will then subsequently receive their monthly contribution. However, if the trainee did not do their end of it, it means that the new Imani program will be waiting for that to be done before we can action it. A matter of fact, all of these forms that would have come into the ministry would have actually treated these with levels of urgency, because we are very, very, very serious and we value that small stipend or that small contribution that trainee will be getting from NS, because the program will not be paying them that normal stipend, because they are on that within that special arrangement, and it's based on law, so we cannot do it because we have to follow what the laws of Grenada says.
Okay, back to the phone lines. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Good morning.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Yes, I would like to find out something, please. How long do a Imani training has to stay into the program?
Thank you.
Okay, caller, I think I addressed this earlier. Maybe you just came in. The training aspect of the program is originally for 2 years. After that, we will continue to engage the trainee until we can put them into sustainable transition. So the trainees, some of them can be there for 1 year, because some of them come in and they find permanent engagement after 1 year or even less. Some of them need 2, 3, 4, but as a government, we will continue to train, retrain, and engage our young people until they can find sustainable employment.
But two other things. I mean, a trainee may come into the program, Blossom. We have had situations where trainees would have received a permanent 1 month after they finish their actual life skills. It happens based on the stakeholder and the needs based on various companies. You and I are well aware that we all go to school and we learn at different rates. Now, that person might be very quick as it relates to grabbing all of the concepts within the 2 years, but there are persons that need more than 2 years to ensure that they can actually pick up what we really want to give to them. However, as we move forward, it is the intention that we continue to engage them, as the minister say, until we can provide for them sustainably. Because, quote unquote, Blossom, we send a trainee home after 2 years. Whose responsibility is it? Yes, it is that individual responsibility, but doesn't it come back to the government? Doesn't it come back to the country? Doesn't it still come back? That same person that leave the Imani program, go back to sit down on the block, right? Go back to be engaged in some of the behaviors that you don't want, that you just spend time trying to build a capacity on. At the end of the day, it's a cycle. It comes right back to the Ministry of Youth. So that is why we are taking a lot of time in ensuring that the transitional process of getting them out of the new Imani program is one that can be valued, and also one where they will be gainfully engaged. So at the end of that out movement, that transfer from the Imani program, it will be a situation where they are now heading into something where they can see a livelihood. They can now provide for themselves. They can provide for their families. If you is only aware of the amount of trainees that are today the head of their home, because sometimes the stipend alone is the only outcome, the only little income. Yes, we say it's not a salary, and we are aware of that.
But
it's a stipend we were giving them. But these are some of the people that are paying the light bill, the water bill, the cable bill. They are paying the small loan from mommy for the 2-piece of board that she got from the supplier, and all of those things. So it is way bigger than we see it. But as we say, we will not want to be a ministry that take in and dump out But at the end of dumping out, we place them in a worse of situation where they go back into the same situation where we once took them out. It is our responsibility, as we said in the beginning. We are building a ministry that will be fit for purpose, and that is why we are placing heavy emphasis on the transitioning of our trainees into sustainable livelihood opportunities.
Okay, another quick question on the WhatsApp. Too many children after school behind buildings in St. George's participating in illicit activities. I will just paraphrase the question a little bit. What can we do to stop that?
We have to realize that parents also have a responsibility. Yes, government have a responsibility to ensure that our people are educated and are able to assist in the development of our children. But you as an individual see young people engaging in these illicit activities. What is your role at that point in time? We are all part of the change process.
Okay, so let me.
I normally would stop.
Okay, let me run through some of the quick questions here because we run out of time. Can someone from Empowerment Program become an Imani?
That is a ticklish kind of question here, but what I would say there, empower is giving you the opportunity to become employable. So it does not mean you have to move from the Empower to the Imani program. There are two separate programs.
Okay. How can we join any of the programs?
There are many ways of joining the programs. People can come into the ministry, indicate their interest in the programs. People can visit the constituency offices, because we have youth officers attached to constituency offices as well. We have youth officers for every parish. So they need to engage, and also we reach out. We will inform. For example, you want to get into the Imani program, there is an Imani secretariat. They have Imani forms. You go there, you fill them out. Or you can also engage your representative and let them know that you are interested. That representative will guide you in the right direction.
Well, additionally, we would have made it one step easier, Blossom, with the new government portal that was recently launched. We have the updated new Imani form right there at the touch of the fingertip. They can go on to mgovernance.net, that is the government's overall web portal, and they can print out the new Imani form. They can get our new ambassadors form. They can get forms for nearly all of our programs online, sitting at the comfort of the room. Print it out, fill it out, and deliver it to us at the Division of Youth at the Botanical Gardens, or at the Imani Secretariat, or even at our Youth Biz Center in St. Mark, where they will normally send it down to us, or they can go to any of the parliamentary representatives' offices at the various constituency. They too will get forms, because we provide all of our forms from the ministry level to all of our parliamentary representatives' office, just so that it's a bit easier for the access to our young people who are in need of the opportunities and needs the forms itself.
Thank you both for passing through this morning, Minister. Yes, we run out of time. What's your watching the clock? Come.
Any final words?
Very quickly. Maybe 30 seconds.
Okay, I just want to say that as a government, we are committed to the young people of this country. We are going to continue to develop programs, projects to engage meaningfully our young people. We have the Youth Parliament that we wanted to speak about, but of course we have several other programs we didn't get a chance to do so. But I want to encourage all of our young people that while we have a responsibility for you, you do have a responsibility for yourself. Get up, get out of your comfort zones, and seek out those opportunities.
Definitely.
Thank you.
And Blossom, remember, Commonwealth Day is coincide this year with our first sitting of the second session of National Parliament on March 9th, right?
Okay.
And before I close...
Quickly, Royden, very, very quickly.
Yes, definitely. So it's at the Houses of Parliament in Mount Weldale. It begins from 11 o'clock in the morning. That's Monday, the 9th of March, and we are also celebrating Commonwealth Day. So we're inviting the whole of Grenada to come down. Already we would have received calls from a number of schools indicating they would like to come. Bolio RC just reached out to us this morning because they're so excited themselves to come to Parliament. So we are encouraging Grenadians to come down. But before I leave Blossom, I cannot leave GBN without thanking the staff, the dedication of the staff at the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture for the continued partnership. I know sometimes they go beyond the call of duty Saturdays and Sundays. I know we can be demanding at management level, but I definitely want to let them know how appreciative we are for the continued and unwavering support towards what they do and their passion. And once again, I thank GBN.
Thank you very much. Have a good day. That's the end of the program this morning. Keep it locked to GBN. Mid-morning buzz is up next. I'll be back with you tomorrow, God willing. Have a safe, enjoyable, and productive Wednesday.